Good morning everybody, welcome to Immortal Gaming. This is me again, Marvin, and we're now here for another video for Ragnarok Origin. And this time we're going to be talking about the Temple of Nightmare and the Divine Armaments. So first and foremost, I have to thank Restricted or Yuri for lending me again his account and also answering all of my questions regarding this content, and also to Isaac Ramos or BBG and Raihan for also entertaining all of my questions regarding this content. Second, we have to consider the contents of this video that is mainly based on the KR server. I know that the Taiwan server is more similar and closer to the global server, but I have already put my best effort in matching everything in Taiwan and KR that is going to be most likely applied to our global server. But take note that some still might change because the strategies may vary depending on the meta across different servers. So, by the time that we reach level 90, of course, the Divine Armament will now be unlocked. When you unlock it, you will be having a quest. When you finish the quest, you'd be having a free weapon box that will be giving you the first weapon, mythic gear, or divine armament that you will be using for your character. There are going to be different rarities here. We have the blue one, the purple, the gold, and the red ones. Okay, for the rarities, the higher the rarity is, the higher stat and the number of divine stat that you could get. So the divine stat is this one. Okay, so these are the divine stats. For blue, you can get up to 1 divine stat. For the purple, you get 2, and for the yellow ones, you can get up to 3 divine stats. So divine stats can be, transferred from one equipment to another using the level 90 and above blueprints that we would be still getting from the Helheim dungeons. The divine stat will now be replacing the modifications. So if you still have modifications on your previous gear, it will be different now on the divine armament. That is if they keep it on the global server. To farm divine armaments, you have to go to the Temple of Nightmare located in Alberta. So the Temple of Nightmare, or commonly known as Tower of Constellation in other servers, okay, has 5 bosses or 5 different runs. So the first one is Cracked Earth, the second one is Waves of Confusion, third one is Flame of Anger, fourth one is Manga of the Wind, and last one is Devil of Time and Space. So it also has 4 difficulty levels. So the first one is Normal, Hard, and Nightmare. So the Hell is not yet, unlocked here, even here on the KR server. So I'm expecting we'll be getting the Normal, Hard. I'm not sure for Nightmare, but the Normal and the Hard. So for each of these bosses, you can only obtain a reward from them once a day. Okay, so for example, in a day, you could obtain all of the rewards from the 5 bosses or 5 dungeons here, and you can infinitely enter them, but for the sake of helping other people afterwards. Okay, and you can only complete all of this 3 times a week. So that means you can only obtain rewards from each of the bosses once a day, and for the whole week 3 times a week. Okay, so a total of 15 rewards for the whole week. So in terms of the rewards, for the normal, we could obtain green rarity, divine armament up to blue, and for the hard, we could obtain blue divine armament to purple. Now, if they release the Nightmare, then that's the only time that we could get, the purple to the gold divine armaments. Now, the reason why people are always going for the Devil of Time and Space is because the Devil of Time and Space here in the KR server, drops a very rare and a very good mount. So I'm not sure if they're going to be applying it also in the global server. So as the difficulty gets higher, they will be introducing new stats here, particularly the magic hit and the magic critical, since in this stage or in this bosses, your magic damage can miss. Okay, that would only come in hard and nightmare difficulties. Together with the difficulties, the resurrection or the respawn is limited also in these dungeons. So for normal difficulty, you can only resurrect people 10 times. For hard, you can only resurrect them 5 times. And for nightmare, you can only resurrect them 3 times. So you would actually expect for your character to be now leaning towards more on damage reduction rather than, you know, all in DPS. There will also be difficulty debuffs. So for example, at normal stage, when you enter it, you have this difficulty debuffs. The first tick here is the one that is locked. So keep in mind all of these debuffs because it's going to be very important in your runs. So this on the upper part here would be the number of points of debuffs that you need to fill in order for you to start the challenge. So for the first row here, you would be getting 1 point on your difficulty debuff. Then on the second row here, you get 2 points, and the last row here would be giving you 3 points. So kindly take note because this is really helpful or can lead to your failure on your runs. Okay, so down here you would now see blessing. So just like the IG battles, you have a blessing bonus, and you can actually pick among all of this blessing bonus so that it could help you in your run. For example, if you have party members that are using auto attack like snipers or assassin crosses out there, then the thorn armor is going to be very helpful, particularly for those users. So this one inflicts damage to the target when attacking using an auto attack or general attack. As you go a higher difficulty here, you would notice that the number of points that you need to fill in terms of the debuffs goes higher too. And the number of locked here are most likely going to be fixed, so you have to know all of this. And for the hard difficulty, you can still get only 1 blessing bonus, and for the nightmare, this is the time that you will be getting 2 blessing bonus, but you have to fill in 26 points of debuffs. Okay, so let's now talk about the bosses and how to counter them, since it's very important not to die in this type of dungeon because, you know, the resurrection is just limited. Okay, the first thing that you should do is kill it fast. Of course, the faster you kill the bosses, the less chances of you failing the attempt. So the number 1 tip here is to use either converters or the counter elements. For example, on Earth, of course, you have to look at the stats here of the bosses. So if it's Earth, you need fire to counter them. You need cards to counter and to also protect yourself. For the suggested weapon cards, Minorus is suggested because, you know, the cracked Earth and the waves of confusion, and together with the devil of time and space, all of those are large bosses. So Minorus card or Minorus illusion card is really going to help you deal more damage to the boss. Next is Skell Worker. Of course, Skell Worker is usable here because Flame of Anger and the Wind Lord or Manga of the Wind are both stages wherein the boss is medium-sized. Okay, so race cards, Peko Peko Egg card is really helpful here, particularly for the Earth Lord and the Fire Lord, because both of them are formless monsters. So Goblin for your Water Lord, since she is a brute. Hydra for your Manga of Wind or Wind Lord, since she is a demi-human. And last but not the least, Strophe for the Time and Space Owl, because he is a demon. Okay, So for the elements, it's still optional. If you don't have any of those aforementioned cards, then you can also go for elements. Of course, for Earth, you need a 3-star Maya card for this one, because the additional damage to Earth monsters only come from after level 5 of the Maya card. Now for the water, Drainliar, this one is Vadon. For the wind, you need Mandragora, and this one doesn't have any counter to it on cards since it is a ghost type monster. Okay, so let's now talk about the third thing, which is surviving. You need to survive in these stages so that you could, generally pass or succeed in your attempts. So with regards to that, you now need garment cards, armor cards, or sometimes your shield cards. So for example, on Cracked Earth, you need tons of Earth Resist cards. So for example, Hold card for your garment, Sandman card to turn yourself into Earth element, and for your shield, you can go for Munak for additional Earth Resist, or plainly Phenomena card so that you could resist any damage that it deals to you since it is a formless monster. Now for the Waves of Confusion or the Water Lord, Swordfish card is there, and Orc Warrior card on your shield so that you could resist damage from brute monsters. She is a brute. Okay, now for Flame of Anger, another Phenomena card, because the Fire Lord is formless. I'm not sure why he is formless. He looks like demi-human to me. He is also fire, so Jack card on your garment is going to be helpful, and Pasana card if you have. Now for the Wind Lord, of course, Dustiness card. If you have Dokkebi, that will be the best one. And last, Tharafrog or Tharafrog Illusion card in order for you to resist more damage from the demi-human. And if you are PvP oriented type of guy, this one is going to be, an easier task for you since you are already, concerning yourself with regards to damage versus demi-human and damage taken from or versus demi-human monsters. Now, for the last one, the Owl, we only need higher HP here, higher boss damage reduction, and I think that's it. And mainly, maybe Kalitzberg card if you already have the... In our server, we still don't have any Kalitzberg card on the market. So if you are one of those lucky to get a Kalitzberg card, because Kalitzberg card increases your resistance versus demon monsters, so this will be very useful. Okay, so the reason why we don't have any, we only increase the HP here, aside from that, the reason that it is a ghost type of boss, because he also summons all of these monsters. He also summons all of the bosses, the previous bosses, so it becomes harder for you to counter in terms of element. So you can only counter in terms of bosses damage reduction and the demon damage reduction. Okay, next, know the skills of the boss. If you would be looking at here, we don't have any description on the skills or anything that would be giving us details about what are the skills of the bosses out here, but we're going to be making separate video guides in order for us to counter or to succeed in getting the rewards even on nightmare level on all of these bosses. So watch out for those videos. Now, you can also go for foods, of course. More food and more increase in your damage or increase in your survivability, the better. Now, you can also use potions, and always be sure to carry a wizard. So if you are a wizard and you feel that you're running out of places that you would be needed, this is the time that you are mostly needed, particularly in time-space owl, because this one is ghost. So if you know, I'm sure you know already that ghosts take damage from ghost attacks, so your gravitational field is going to be much of use in this stage. Now, aside from that one, the last tip that I could give you guys is the reduction on bosses. what do we have right now that could reduce the damage of these bosses on you and your party. The first one is going to be the Moon Rabbit Balloon, or the back gear that we have right now on our gacha that contains 8% reduction versus bosses. So that's going to be really helpful for you. Even if you are a DPS, you need to have damage reductions here. The second one would be Phantom Castle. The costume, if you have that, that is going to be really helpful since it adds additional 5% damage reduction from bosses. And not only that, it also has physical and magic damage reduction stats. The next one would be Bloody Horn, or the horn that we could get from the gacha, the previous gacha. It also adds a lot of damage reduction from Demon, particularly on Time Space Owl, and other headwears that reduce the damage from demon monsters. That's going to be helpful, particularly on stage 5 or the 5th boss here in this dungeon. Last but not the least, this is the time that you should be, switching your Divine Armament stats to a Goibin's stats or Goibin's set, since that is going to be increasing your survivability, increasing your damage reductions, and increasing your HP. So it doesn't matter that much if you deal less damage, a little bit less damage because of a different set that you're using on your armor. But when you have completed already all of the normal stages of the bosses here, you would get different types of divine armaments. So you have to set them, when you go to a higher difficulty, you have to set them on Goibin's set so that you could increase your tankability and your HP. Alright, so more videos about this coming up when this content is already out in our global server. So I think that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and I do hope that this video guide has helped you. If you like this video, please do leave a like, share this to your friends, and click that bell notification button to get notified every time I upload a new video, start a new stream, or a new content. That's it. See you again on the next video. Bye-bye! 'Cause now I found you.